Involvement starts here. A four-step plan for engaging ELL students and their families. This is a presentation for the George Middle School Board and the George Middle School Administration, and it's an issue I care personally a lot about, and it's an issue we need to address so that ELL students are given just as many chances to succeed as the other students in our class. Why do we need to do this? Well, we need to do this because we've seen an achievement gap. We have an achievement gap going on that you can clearly see right here. Our other students are doing significantly better in improving. Our ELL students have flattened out. Some of them are actually getting worse and going down, and that's a problem, and we need to address that. This is not a problem just at George Middle School, but it's a problem nationwide, and we need to engage families so that we can mediate these issues. What's the first step to getting families involved? That is making sure that we know our population. Our population is unique at this school, and as the Center for Public Education stated, ELL students are not monolithic. Many of them are born in the United States. Our specific population is made up mostly of Spanish speakers who were born here at George Middle School, and for the purposes of this presentation and for purposes of this action plan, we'll be looking at specific interventions and specific ways to get Spanish-speaking ELL families involved throughout the rest of this school year. Understanding our students is the first step, but the rest of them will be coordinated events and other ways to make sure students and their families feel welcome in our school. My first idea is to have a culturally sensitive open house. So rather than the traditional back-to-school night where we send kids home with paperwork and the parents maybe never look at it, and we never get very many attendees who have actual ELL children because they can't read the invitation. These invitations are going to be in their native language, followed up by the actual back-to-school night, which will be more personal and face-to-face. And as the AdLit blog said, getting to know ELL families helps build important relationships based on trust, which can in turn pave the way to student success. This is an approach is most effective when the communication is personal and face-to-face. So we will actually be doing personal and face-to-face meetings with every family, including those that are ELL and including those that aren't, and making sure that ELL families come by making invitations in their native language. We'll have a more effective open house so that we can have a foundation to build on, and we can have events throughout the year that families can continue to come to and get involved in the school. After we get the parents to come to the school, we need to keep them involved. One of the ways we can do this is offering free ESL classes for the parents. Numerous districts around the country have done this, including Jefferson County in Colorado, Colorado Springs Public Schools, Loma Vista in California, as well as several other schools across the country. One of the uniquest programs I've found is from the nonprofit IU13 Community Education section. They allow adult learners to take ESL classes, but they also allow parents to do literacy with their children in family literacy classes. If we brought in something like this to George, not only would we have parents involved in learning English, but we'd have families involved in learning literacy together, and they would be able to follow how their students are doing as far as learning English and how they're doing in school. It'd be the perfect way to get the parents involved in academia while benefiting both the children and the parents. This is essential because, as Lopez found, 47% of Hispanic youth say that their parents not playing an active role is one of the reasons that they didn't graduate high school or didn't go to college. So that shows that, at least that study, students need parental involvement and they need parents involved in education. Doing it here is really a no-brainer. Having the parents come to school on their own time, perhaps during the day, as well as after school, allows them to get involved without being overwhelmed by the American education system. Color in Colorado makes a similar case for the need for ESL classes and literacy classes. They say immigrant families may be unaware of the opportunities available to them. So by doing these literacy classes, ELL classes, they're more aware and they have more chances to use them and be a part of our society and part of our school community. Next part of our four-step process is to recruit bilingual parent volunteers. ELL parents will be able to work with their students as well as other ELL students and get a better understanding of the American education system while also providing scaffolds for the ELL children. This is a perfect way to get parents involved because it works two ways. But we got to keep in mind that there are some ways to really make this successful. Judy Haynes specifically suggested training your volunteers. It is worth the time, so we got to make sure that we have training for the volunteers and also that we allow limited English speakers to volunteer also. She also believes that if volunteering, once the word gets out, it'll spread like wildfire, so we'd have more parents in the building, there'd be more community involvement, plus we'd have more adults to make our school run more successfully with ballooning class sizes. So making sure we have a way to work with bilingual volunteers instead of just depending on the PTA members who are always involved year to year, focusing and targeting parents who maybe want to get involved but don't know how. So that's really step 3, is about getting parents involved in the day-to-day classroom with training programs, volunteering, organization, so that every day we have someone coming in who's working with the ELL students, ESL students, to make them more successful and make our community more successful. Step 4, our last but perhaps most important step, is about ELL leadership. As I say, the PTA shouldn't just be for families that speak English. This is about getting families of ELL students to be involved in the school decision-making process. That means meeting with parents, teachers, meeting with principals, talking with administration, making decisions on curriculum, events. All of those things are things that the ELL families need to be involved in, and making sure that they have a chance to actually make decisions for their child's education. So with that respect, one of the ways you can do that is make meetings have notes in Spanish and English for PTA notes. Make sure that there's a separate committee for ELL. So District 146 in Chicago actually has a separate committee called the Parent Advisory Committee, and they meet 4 times a year to actually discuss things and make sure that the ELL voices are heard. And having something like this at George Leadership would encourage parents to get involved. I would specifically say that ELL parents need to be on this committee. They should probably even be in majority on this committee so that their voices are heard. Adlit blog specifically said that ELL parents are underrepresented in leadership roles, so that's the impetus for this change. And again, it is the most important change because if we have ELL leaders, they will be able to make sure that they do what's best for the ELL community. Lastly, I'd like to thank you, and I'd briefly like to sum up my 4-step plan. It is culturally sensitive open house with invitations in the native language and one-on-one meetings with parents. We have ESL classes for parents as well as literacy classes for families held at the school that are preferably free. We have bilingual parent volunteers. And going along with that, we have ELL leadership, so we would have someone from ELL parents involved in recruiting volunteers, as well as ELL committees to make decisions on the ELL population, as well as the school in general. By doing those 4 things, we will have significantly better ELL family participation. Here are my references.